While other children threw tantrums and demanded attention, you sat quietly in corners, watching the adults navigate crises with the wisdom of someone far beyond your years. You were the child who never needed reminding to do homework, who cleaned up messes you didn't make, who comforted crying siblings with a maturity that seemed to come from nowhere. But it didn't come from nowhere. It came from necessity. You learned that your needs came last, that peace in the house depended on your silence, that love was earned through being easy, undemanding, invisible when chaos erupted around you. While other children learned to trust that adults would handle adult problems, you learned to scan faces for signs of stress, to anticipate emotional storms, to become a tiny emotional meteorologist reading the atmospheric pressure of your home. You became fluent in reading emotional weather patterns, predicting storms before they hit. You learned to make yourself so small, so accommodating, so mature that maybe, just maybe, you could keep your family from falling apart through the sheer force of your premature wisdom. Everyone marveled at how mature you were, how easy to parent, how wise beyond your years. Teachers praised your composure. Relatives called you an old soul. Other parents wished their children were more like you, quiet, responsible, never any trouble. But inside, a child was suffocating under the weight of premature responsibility. While your peers were learning to play, to explore, to make magnificent messes and recover from them, you were learning to carry burdens that weren't yours, to solve problems you didn't create, to be the adult when the actual adults couldn't cope. You learned to wear maturity like armor, but armor is heavy. It protects you from some dangers while slowly crushing you under its weight. The very trait that made you seem so special was actually evidence of something breaking inside you. Your childhood disappearing one responsible moment at a time. What happened to you has clinical names: emotional parentification combined with hypervigilance. When children are forced to become emotional caretakers for their parents or siblings, when they must constantly scan their environment for threats to family stability, their nervous systems adapt by becoming perpetually alert. This wasn't maturity. This was survival. Your nervous system learned to stay constantly tuned to danger frequencies, reading micro-expressions, monitoring emotional temperatures, predicting and preventing crises before they could destabilize your world. That quiet child wasn't naturally calm. They were strategically invisible. Every moment of apparent wisdom was actually a moment of childhood being sacrificed on the altar of family dysfunction. You didn't choose maturity. It was thrust upon you by circumstances that demanded you grow up too fast or watch everything fall apart. The hyper-maturity that protected you then now follows you like a shadow that never quite fits your actual shape. You find yourself unable to access spontaneous joy or playfulness. These feel foreign, even dangerous. Your nervous system, still locked in hypervigilant mode, scans every social situation for problems to solve, emotions to manage, people to take care of. You automatically take responsibility for others' emotions, stepping in to smooth tensions, manage conflicts, carry loads that aren't yours to bear. You feel old inside regardless of your actual age, like you've been middle-aged since you were 7 years old. Friends come to you with their problems because you seem so wise, so stable, so capable of handling anything. But when do you get to fall apart? When do you get to be messy, confused, human? The hypermaturity that made you the easy child now makes you the person everyone leans on, but no one thinks to support. You've become an expert at holding space for everyone else's inner child, while your own remains locked away, waiting for permission to finally come out and play. The realization hits you like a physical force. You look around and realize you've been the adult in every relationship, even with people older than you. You're the one managing emotional temperatures, anticipating needs, carrying the invisible load of keeping everyone comfortable and stable. The exhaustion creeps up slowly, then hits all at once. The constant emotional labor of managing everyone else's feelings, of being the responsible one, the wise one, the one who never needs taking care of, has left you completely depleted. Your hypervigilant nervous system, on high alert for decades, is finally saying, enough. The question that stops you in your tracks: when do you get to just be? When do you get to be imperfect, needy, silly, carefree? When does that quiet, responsible child get to experience the childhood they never had? This isn't selfishness speaking. It's your soul crying out for the experiences it was denied, for the lightness it never knew it was allowed to feel. Healing means giving yourself permission to be messy, imperfect, even childlike sometimes. It means understanding that true maturity is not the absence of playfulness. It's the wisdom to know when to be responsible and when to let that burden down. Dr. Peter Levine's groundbreaking work on trauma shows us that our nervous systems can become locked in survival patterns long after the danger has passed. Your hypervigilance, your premature maturity, your constant responsibility, these were brilliant adaptations that served you well. But now, they need updating. Find one small way each day to play, to be silly, to experience joy without purpose or productivity attached. Maybe it's dancing to a song that makes you feel ridiculous. Maybe it's buying yourself the toy you never got as a child. Maybe it's laughing until your stomach hurts at something genuinely funny. This is reparenting in action. You get to give your inner child everything they were denied. Permission to be loud, messy, joyful, curious, carefree. You get to be the adult that child needed but never had. That quiet, mature child inside you. The one who carried everyone else's emotions, who solved problems with tiny hands, who learned to be wise when they should have been learning to wonder, deserves to finally feel safe enough to laugh, loudly cry freely, and exist without apology. You were robbed of something precious, the experience of being cared for instead of always caring, of being protected instead of always protecting, of being allowed to be small and vulnerable and beautifully, messily human. But here's what they couldn't take from you: your capacity for joy, even if it's buried under years of premature responsibility. Your ability to play, even if it feels foreign at first. Your right to take up space, to have needs, to be imperfect, and still worthy of love. True maturity isn't the absence of childlike wonder. It's the wisdom to protect and nurture it. It's knowing when to be responsible and when to let that heavy armor fall away so you can dance in the rain like you never got to do as a child. You're not alone in learning to balance wisdom with wonder, responsibility with play. There's a whole community of people who grew up too fast, who are now learning to slow down, to breathe, to trust that the world won't fall apart if they're not constantly holding it together. Your inner child is still there, waiting patiently behind all that premature wisdom. They've been quiet for so long, but they're ready to laugh, to play, to experience the joy that was always their birthright. It's not too late. It's never too late to have the childhood you deserved. Let that child finally come out to play. The world needs your wisdom, yes, but it also needs your wonder, your laughter, your beautiful, imperfect humanity. You've earned the right to be both, deeply wise and playfully alive. Remember, healing isn't about becoming less wise. It's about becoming wise enough to also be joyful.